Hello friends, today's lecture is on social groups, classification, formation and organization of groups and role of social groups in agricultural extension. Introduction. Aristotle says man is a social animal and thus social group is the foundation of society and culture. Man is also a product of group life. Human beings have always been dependent upon his fellow beings for defense, food, clothing and shelter. The satisfaction of various needs could be done only by cooperation among various people in society. The reciprocal help brought them into social contact with one another and led to the formation of social group. Agriculture as such is a group activity. More so is the case of agricultural extension. Agricultural extension as a group activity consists of interaction between the agricultural extension agents, community leaders and farmers. In this lesson, we shall examine how social groups are formed, organized and classified and the role of social groups in agricultural extension. Definition of social group. A social group consists of two or more people who interact with one another and who recognize themselves as a distinct social unit. Frequent interaction leads people to share values and beliefs. This similarity and the interaction cause them to identify with one another. Identification and attachment in turn stimulate more frequent and intense interaction. Francis E. Merrill in Culture and Society, an introduction to sociology, states that social group refers to two or more persons are in communication over an appropriate period of time and who act in accordance with common function or purpose. Arnold W. Green in Sociology and Analysis of Life in Modern Society says that a social group is an aggregate of individuals which persists in time, which has one or more interests or activities in common and which is organized. Similarly, Emory S. Borgadas in Sociology states that a social group is a number of persons, two or more, who have common objects of attention, who are stimulating to each other, who have common loyalty and participate in related activities are called as group. Groups are among the most stable and enduring but also dynamic social units. They are important both to their members and to the society at large. Through encouraging regular and predictable behavior, groups form the foundation upon which society rests. Thus, a family, a village, a political party, a trade union is all social groups. Classification, formation and organization of social groups. Different sociologies have classified groups in different ways. Various thinkers have chosen many criteria or bases for the classification of social groups such as size, kind of contact, nature of interest, degree of organization and degree of permanence, etc. Some of these bases have received more attention than others. Dwight Sanderson has classified groups into three types on the basis of structure such as involuntary, voluntary and delegate groups. An involuntary group is that to which man has no choice, which is based on kinship such as the family, tribe or clan. A voluntary group is one which a man joins for his volition or wishes. A delegate group is one in which a man joins as a representative or a number of people elected rather by them or nominated by some authority. For example, the State Legislative Assembly. George Hassan has classified groups into 4 types on the basis of their relation to other groups. They are unsocial, pseudo-social, antisocial, and pro-social groups. An unsocial group is one which largely lives to itself and for itself and does not participate in the larger society of which it is a part. It does not mix up with other groups and maintains aloof from them, but it never goes against the interests of the larger group. A pseudo-social group participates in the larger group of which it is a part, but mainly for the own gain and not for the greater good. An antisocial group is one which acts against the interests of the larger group of which it is a part. A pro-social group is the reverse of the antisocial group. It works for the larger interests of the society of which it is a part. William Graham Summer made a division of groups into in-group and out-group. The group with which the individual identifies himself are his in-groups, such as his family, tribe, college, occupation, etc. All other groups to which he does not belong are the out-groups. In-group and out-group. William Graham Summer, in his book Folkways, made distinction between in-group and out-group from the individual point of view, and it is based on preferential bonds, ethnocentrism, among the members of the groups. According to Summer, the groups with which the individual identifies himself are his in-groups, his family or tribe or sex or college or occupation or religion by virtue of his awareness of likeness or consciousness of kind. The individual belongs to a number of groups which are his in-groups. All other groups to which he does not belong are his out-groups. In-group attitudes contain some element of sympathy and a sense of attachment to other members of the group. It embodies the collective pronoun we. The members of the in-group display cooperation, goodwill, mutual help, and respect for one another's rights. Summer also said that ethnocentrism is a characteristic of the in-group. An out-group, on the other hand, is defined by an individual with reference to his in-group. He uses the word they or other with reference to his out-group. Toward the member of out-group, we feel a sense of indifference, avoidance, disgust, hostility, competition, or outright conflict. The relationship of an individual to his out-group is marked by a sense of remoteness or detachment and sometimes even of hostility. Reference group. The term reference group was coined by Herbert Hemans in 1942 to apply to the group against which an individual evaluates his or own situation or conduct. He distinguished between membership group to which people actually belong and a reference group which is used as a basis of comparison. A reference group may or may not be a membership group. The term reference was introduced into the literature on small group by Muzaffar Sharif in his book An Outline of Social Psychology. The concept was subsequently elaborated by Robert K. Merton and Ralph Turner. Strictly speaking, a reference group is one to which we do not actually belong, but with which we identify ourselves or to which we would like to belong. We may actually belong to a group, yet we accept the norms of another group to which we refer but to which we do not actually belong. Robert Merton writes, individuals in the society choose not only reference group but also reference individual. Reference individual has often been described as role model. The person who identifies himself with a reference individual will seek to approximate the behavior and value of that individual in his several roles. In addition to the above classifications, groups can further be classified as number 1, distinctive and overlapping groups, number 2, territorial and non-territorial groups, number 3, homogeneous and heterogeneous groups, number 4, permanent and transitory groups, number 5, contractual and non-contractual groups, number 6, open groups and closed groups. Thus, sociologists have classified groups into numerous categories according to their own way of looking at them. Factors responsible for formation and organization of group. A group may be organized at any time when some individuals feel that there is need that cannot be satisfied individually and there is no group already in existence to meet the need. A new group may be organized even if similar groups are located elsewhere or this cannot serve their interests. A group may be organized with or without a stimulus from outside. In organizing groups for action, the needs, interests and goals of the individuals are to be met subservient and channeled to the needs, interests and goals of the group. As explained, minimum amount of cooperation among the group members is essential to hold the group together and act as a unit. In a democratic group, decisions are generally based on majority opinion. Compromise decision or decision by consensus may sometimes be required to avoid conflict situation in the group. The group process is as important as the group decision. Examples of communication in groups are result demonstration, method demonstration, group meeting, small training, field day or farmers day, study tour, etc. Stages of group formation. Any social group are not formed overnight. It takes time for a group to develop into a point where it is effective and all members have we feeling and connected. Citing the case of work groups from their inception to adjournment, they undergo important changes. Bruce Tuckman has divided the developments of a group into 5 stages. They are forming, storming, norming, performing and adjourning. Let us learn more about them in detail. Forming. The first stage of group formation is called forming. At this stage, members try to know each other and establish a common understanding among them. They struggle to clarify group goals and determine appropriate behavior within the group. Group members will start establishing limits on acceptable behavior through experimentation. Once the forming stage is completed, individuals within the group feel that they are truly the members of the group. Storming. As its name implies, this stage is characterized by considerable amount of conflict. During this stage of group formation, interpersonal conflicts arise and differences of opinion about the group and its goal surfaces. For example, difference of opinion over how much power should the leader of their group have, etc. This stage is completed when group members no longer resist the group's control and there is mutual understanding and agreement about who will lead the group. Normally, this stage is completed when group members consider that it is better to work together for the achievement of the group goals. Norming. Once the group resolves its conflicts at this stage, it can now establish patterns of how to get its work done. Expectations of one another are clearly articulated and accepted by members of the group. Formal and informal procedures are established in delegating tasks, responding to questions, and in the process by which the group functions. Members of the group come to understand how the group as a whole operates. A well-developed sense of common purpose of the group emerges among the members. In this stage, group members agree on standards to guide the behavior in the group. Performing. When this stage is reached, the group is ready to tackle all types of group tasks. The members of the group work toward achievement of the group goals. The real work of the group gets accomplished at this stage. Group members learn new skills, roles, etc. A journey. This is the last stage of the group formation. At this stage, a group disbands after having accomplished its goals. However, ongoing work groups in organizations do not go through this stage, rather they remain at the performing stage. Role of social groups in agricultural extension. Agricultural extension is the application of scientific research and new knowledge to agricultural practices for farmers' education. Some of the most important clientele for agricultural extension program are farmers. Farmers form social groups in order to satisfy their needs, be these physiological, psychological or both, to share common values, interests and norms. Educating farmers about new methods of farming and technique of farming and agriculture requires knowledge about their social background and other groups to which they belong, such as informal groups, caste group, religious groups, etc. With this knowledge, an extension agent is required to let the farmers know the purpose of forming new groups in the form of work group, session group, etc. An individual needs group participation because he has grown up in a group and has acquired wants that can only be satisfied by other persons in the group. Some groups have common interests and others have divergent interests. The extension workers need this information about groups in the village to gain their rapport in disseminating information and for other aspects of his work. Informal groups such as women at drinking water well, men sitting at blacksmith shop, or formal groups such as self-help groups, Mahila mandals, youth clubs are important in decision making. The extension workers are required to know about these groups and should plan the strategy in accordance with the influence of these groups. Social groups have various roles in agricultural extension. Number one, it enables the extension agent to have face-to-face contact with a number of people at a time. Number 2, people can be easily motivated to accept change due to group influence. Number 3, less expensive than other method in stimulating action. Number 4, in groups, people can be enhanced and members of groups can be involved for in-depth discussion. Conclusion. The key to the nature of human grouping is the notion of association. Groups are created and maintained because they enable individual members to attain certain goals or interests which they hold in common. Social behavior and personalities are shaped by the group to which they belong. Throughout a person's life, individual is a member of various groups. Some are chosen by him, others are assigned to him at birth. Groups constitute the complex pattern of the social structure. Groups are a part of society. In agricultural extension, social groups enables the extension agent to have face-to-face contact with a number of people at a time for motivation and transfer of new method of practices of agriculture.